So today I'm gonna be taking you guys through my leg workout. This is the current routine that I'm doing right now just to work on some of my weaknesses, some of the things that I've noticed are not that great with my physique. And I was doing some sketching and I decided to kind of sketch up your muscles change in terms of your appearance when it comes to your legs, and why specifically this is my routine at the moment. What is it that I'm looking to change in the appearance of my legs? I'm going to label all the muscle groups and colors. Yeah, ultimately what I want to let you guys know is that there is a rhyme and reason for the way that I train. I don't just randomly go in and say, well, I'm gonna do legs, so let me jump on any leg machine. I know exactly what muscle I want to grow, so I do exactly that machine or that exercise. First of all, what I think is my biggest weakness, and that would be this green part right here, which is your outer quad. So it gives your legs that kind of sweeping look on the outside. It makes contrast between your waist and your legs, especially when it comes to men. Women, because hips are wider than men's, they usually already have that contrast between the small waist. For men though, it's gonna give that wider leg appearance is gonna be that outer quad, which is a weakness of mine. I've noticed it especially from the back. It just doesn't look as good as it could, or as wide as it could. So for that I do hack squat. But before any of that, we have to start talking about stretching. It's not a great idea to start working out without properly warming up. So this is my warm up right here. I'm doing dynamic stretching, so what that means is I'm not holding the stretch for a very long time. I'm literally just trying to get the blood rushing into my muscles. I'm trying to quickly stretch my ligaments and my muscles, but I'm not trying to hold any of these stretches. I'm just getting everything warm and ready, and I start out with my heaviest weight right after that warm up. That's why it's important again to warm up. So hack squats are really great. And this machine is very uncomfortable for beginners, but if you want to work your way up to a hack squat, what I would say is a good one is a wall sit. Right? You sit back against the wall and you kind of sit against it, so there's nothing under your butt. It's just your knees in a 90-degree right angle, and you're just kind of hovering, and you can feel the burn on the outer part, like right above your knee. Again, it's something that I need help with, so as you can see, I'm really working hard at it. If you're not making faces while you're training, you're probably not training hard enough, okay? Let's just get that thing clear right there. So I usually vary my training about every 3 months, so here I actually lower the weight. I started with 45-pound plates, and then for my second set, I go lower. So I go 35 pounds and I do more reps, and I focus them. So I'm getting more tired, but that's okay because I go lighter. And here for my last set, I go 25 pounds only, but I'm really focused on going as low as possible and controlling my descent. So I'm going down really slow. I'm feeling it on the outside of my legs, and I'm coming right back up, not slowing down on the way up, only on the way down. And move your feet around. Try to find where you're the most comfortable doing this exercise. Again, there is discomfort in a good way, but you have to manage it. You have to control it, and it has to be in the right place. Now up next is my journey to become the thickest boy in a bodybuilding competition. And a lot of guys neglect this, but it's your glutes, all right? Now specifically, there are two parts to your glutes. There's the medial glute, which is the one in yellow on the upper part of your lower back, and the gluteus maximus, which everyone is familiar with, which is the lower part, which is the majority of your butt. Again, both of these are important. You should try to train them, and it's gonna stop you from getting injured. It's gonna improve your overall performance, so please do them. I do 2 exercises mainly for both of these, and I try to hit both of those. Again, I'm trying to maximize the size that I can gain overall in my legs, because at the moment my upper body is just overpowering my lower body. So first I start with this I call it a mule kick, but really, it's a glute kickback machine. You put your foot on it and you press back. And again, it's very important that the pad on your chest is not too high up. It's low enough, and then you're going kind of low to be with it. And that you're squeezing. I can't emphasize that enough. You have to actually feel your muscles and you have to squeeze them. So I literally imagine, like my glute, like my ass is a handball and I'm squeezing it with my hand, and that's how I'm able to feel it actually tighten up. Now this next one is a little bit controversial, but the blue part, the calf. A lot of guys have kind of given up on any exercises. They just don't train it. Leg day is all about the quads. I'm kind of on that camp, but I also have to say this. Yeah, calves are mainly genetic. Like I will see 40-year-old Asian women that look like they have watermelons in their calf muscle. Is just that ridiculous and that huge, and yet here I am, guy who goes to the gym and trains like crazy, and I have these small calves. So they are genetic, but they do attribute something overall to like your performance in the gym. But I think you should try to maximize every part of your body. So if you're not training it, there is some weight on the scale in terms of muscle that you're kind of leaving out of the equation. So don't neglect it, and also don't bounce up and down, please. I used to do that too. You know, you kind of want to get it over with. You want to check off the calf exercise out of your list, but please, just like any other exercise that you're interested in getting the full benefit out of, make sure you extend all the way to the top and squeeze your calf, and then slowly control the descent down, and then feel your calf stretching. So the way I usually do my workout routine is I try to give one group of muscle a rest while I work out the other one. So first I started with the green part, the outer part of my quad. Then I went to my back, which was my glutes. And now I switch over again to the quads, but this time I'm hitting the pink area, right? The front of the quad. And the reason why this has lately become my favorite part to train with just a regular squat is because it creates contrast, right? I think this is my own personal opinion. I'm going way off track, but for me, bodybuilding and just overall going to the gym is about creating contrast between the small parts of your body that have no muscle and the other parts of your body that have muscle. So for example, you have the bony hip area that has no muscle, and it's an indent in your body. And then you have your quad muscle, which is the contrast of that, right? It's sticking out, and then it goes back into the bony area, which is the top of your knee. So you have that curve, that sweeping, which in my opinion is what I'm looking for in terms of aesthetics, in terms of being on a bodybuilding stage. It's called a safety bar, and I love it just because the back of my shoulders get really, really tight. A lot of people complain about shoulder pain on the back of their shoulder, and they feel like it's cramping whenever they squat down with a regular bar. Having my hands in front of me like this has just made it so much easier to squat down with weight, and also stretching has really helped out a lot. Again, if you're not stretching, you're not going to be squatting right, and therefore your muscles aren't going to be growing correctly or as fast as you might want them to. Your tendons might be getting stronger, you might be lifting more weight, but then you'll look at your quads and you'll be like, why is my actual quad muscle not getting any bigger? So when I get all the way to the bottom, I can actually feel my quad in the front stretch from my hip all the way down through the front, and that's how I know that I'm really making that muscle grow. And in the past year that I've been really being aggressive on my squat, I've noticed that sweep getting more and more pronounced, which is it's definitely satisfying when you see that your work is paying off. Alright, and the final exercise for the day. At this point, I train each muscle part twice a week, so that's my current routine. So again, if I want to grow my legs as fast as possible, the more often I train them, the faster I'll get to my goal. So instead of just doing legs once a week and that's it, I train them once a week, and then 2 days later I notice that my legs are not feeling sore, they're feeling really good, so I go in for another leg workout. And I vary the exercise a little bit, but for the most part, like I'm telling you guys, I'm sticking to my glutes and my quads, because those are the two areas that I have to improve on. And again, something that I've really benefited from is training my medial glute, a part that a lot of people ignore, except for girls. Girls don't ignore this. I see a lot of girls on this machine. This is called the I get confused between abduction and adduction, but I just think about it as you know, aliens abduct you, or you're getting abducted, you're getting pulled up, and in this case you're pulling your legs apart. You're not pushing them in. So abducting is pulling and adducting is pushing. So again, a thing that I get a lot of complaints about is people have their hips are tight and their medial glute is weak. So that's just like a recipe for disaster, which is why people will get a lot of cramps on their hip, like right on top of the hip bone, especially when trying this machine. So they'll literally sit down. Your hip flexors get tight from being sitting a lot. So if you sit around on a computer, if you're sitting for long parts of your day, you drive, you have a driving job or just a desk job, you're gonna get a really tight hip flexors. And so what ends up happening is when you sit on this machine and you try to pull your legs apart, your medial glute is not working. It's too weak. It's not doing the job. Your hip flexors that are tight kind of try to do the work, and they end up cramping. And so I get people that this is very painful for. As you can see, I'm touching my medial glute. I'm poking it with my hand because I'm really trying to focus my mind on that. Sometimes because I'm still recovering from having tight hip flexors and I'm stretching them out every day after I have my leg workout, I touch my medial glute and I make sure I'm squeezing it. It's the one that's doing the work. And sometimes you'll see me lean forward and grab onto the machine, and when I lean forward again, I focus more on the back of my glute, the upper part of it, squeezing, and it's been really helping me out. Again, I do 3 sets. I start out with low reps, so 8 reps for the first set. And if you guys are beginners and you have no idea about what I'm saying, reps, sets, I will make a short video in the future explaining what that means. But again, I'm starting out very heavy and I'm going for low reps because that's all I can do when I'm going heavy. And then I lower the weight and I can do more reps. And then the third time that I go, I lower the weight and I do even more reps. And that's it for this machine. And stick around to watch me stretch. Now, out of my whole workout, I think this is the most important part. So if you're stretching your muscles, you're just giving them more range. You're giving them the ability to work better through their range of motion, and that's going to lead through a lot more hypertrophy and a lot more muscle growth. So right here, I'm working on my hamstring and the inside of my thigh, and here, again, more of the inside of my thighs, the inside of my hamstrings. I want to be able to do a split, so I'm currently working up to that, and just I try to hold each stretch for about 20 seconds. That's what I think is a good amount. Don't make it too painful. Again, this is something, stretching is about consistency more than anything. If you stretch once a week and you do it every week, that's okay. If you stretch every day, even better. If you neglect it for a month and then you try to destroy your body in one day by stretching it, you're most likely going to get injured. Please don't do that. Just be consistent. I stretch until I start to feel a slight discomfort, but just the fact that my tendons and my muscles have reached basically they're full stretched, and I try to hold that position for 20 seconds and I try to breathe easily through it. If I can't do that, then it's probably a little bit too much. This is a bit more of an advanced stretch. It's for the front of the quad and it requires balance. So if you're gonna stretch your quad, you can just do it standing against the wall and pulling your leg back behind you like I'm doing here. I just like this because the fact that I can put my knee on the mat and sort of lean forward and get even more of a stretch in the front of my quad. I love that. And again, stretching my quads and my calves have just made squatting so much more enjoyable. Like now I really look forward to my leg days because I'm able to move a lot easier and I'm able to feel my muscles contracting a lot better. Now this one right here is by far the most painful one and the one that limits me the most. I have a friend who's very flexible, and I did this together with him, and the fact that his leg could go very high up on the mat and his head could almost touch it while his whole leg was laying on the floor was extremely surprising. And here I am again. This is years of lifting without taking the proper care to stretch. So they've added up to this kind of like lack of mobility, especially in my hips, which made me avoid squatting with a bar for a very long time. So right now what I'm stretching is, again, my hip. Remember what I told you guys, the tight hips from sitting down for long periods of times or for not stretching for many years. So I'm stretching that, and I'm also stretching my glutes. Something that happened was when you focus on strengthening a muscle in your body without, again, stretching, it kind of starts developing this tightness over time and this shortening, and it reduces its range of motion a lot. Can't stretch. And finally, this is just a regular hamstring stretch. So the back of your knees and the back of your legs. I make sure I make my knees as straight as possible, and then I start slowly bending down until I reach the limit at which my knees want to bend. And yes, I do arch my back because I'm trying to stretch everything from my lower back to my glutes to my hamstrings. And again, my goal is to try to reach my face almost to my knees if I can. I know people that can go even deeper than this, but at this point this is my limit, and I held it for about 20 seconds there. And then just posing practice, just looking at current changes, things that have to be made.
Wait, who did that over there? Huh? Look at this, you didn't know. I didn't know, I actually did. You? You know, look at it. Look at all that. It wasn't her. It wasn't her. Daddy, you have anything. You have anything. She's bad too. She's bad too, Daddy. You have listen to me. Okay, listen to me, Daddy. Good girl.